so fat, you're so stupid, you're so ugly. Stupid, she got straight A's in college. Fat and ugly, the girl's a kickboxer, voted the prettiest girl in the high school, 3,000 students, but he had her convinced she's fat and ugly. She was miserable. She said, those Saturday nights, all my friends would say, it's all fun and games. She said, you wake up the next morning, she said, the fun and games are over, I woke up hating myself. She said, I'd sit in my bathroom, flipping over my pregnancy test, scared to death. But then I go to school that morning, the biggest mask on my face. I'm so happy with my life. Put a mask on for the boys, one for my parents, one for church. She said, I was so sick, I don't know any way out. Her mom found her birth control pills in her purse. Said, you're going to a chastity talk. She goes, no, I'm not going to your stupid sex talk, I heard those before. The mom said, I don't care, you're going, forces her. And I don't know who gave her the talk, it wasn't me, but she said that guy got up there, in the 1 hour I sat still, she said my life did a 180. She said the guy was honest, blunt, real, he didn't judge any of us. But she said it felt like he took my hand out of the audience. He walked through my whole life with me. He had done everything I'd done, sex, smoke, and drink. But she said he had something I didn't have, and I wanted it back. He wasn't ashamed of himself, he had a backbone, I wanted that. So after the talk, she went up to him, took his advice, start over. She went to the sacrament of reconciliation, she got a clean soul, then I wrote down a list. She wrote down a list, 60 things she dreamed of in a future husband, and why never get what she settled for less. And that weekend, the guys called her up. Hey girl, wanna hook up? We're going to Andre's house. It's stupid, she knew what they wanted, so for the first time in her life, she said no. She stayed home a little lonely, where she wrote her first love letter to her future husband. I said no to him tonight out of love for you. I'm respecting my body tonight out of respect for you. I can't wait for the day we're gonna meet with all my hopes and prayers, and she signs it. Next weekend they called her back. Hey girl, where you been? Are you trying to be too good for us? They tried to make her feel guilty for taking care of herself once. She turned around again, another love letter. Every time she was tempted to go back that life, she'd read the old letters and write a new one. And she got stronger, the stack of letters got thicker and thicker and thicker. Now, why do you think I know all this stuff about the girl? It's because she's the girl who gave me every single one of those letters on our honeymoon when I married her 10 years ago. This girl's my wife, my bride, the mother of my kids. You imagine how grateful I am that she started waiting for me. What if she heard the talk in high school and just blew it off? Chastity, abstinence, what a joke, not for me. Do you think I ever would have met her? Do you think our marriage would exist? Do you think our 5 beautiful little kids we have back home would exist? And it was cool. Like, when we found out that we were pregnant, specifically her, you go to the doctors, you have to do the ultrasound, see the little dude on the TV screen? First one, the baby's as tall as a grain of rice, and you watch the heartbeat. It's awesome. And most of the ultrasounds stink, you can't see anything. I'm like, is that his head? They're like, that's his butt. I'm like, I like his dad. But now they have these high-tech ultrasounds called 4D. They can zoom in on your kid's face in color, live 3D videos. They have videos now of kids who appear to be laughing at something in their mother's wombs. So when we found out we're expecting, we brought our other little kid to the doctor's office. What was it? Hey little guys, if you look at that TV screen, you're gonna see your baby brother, sister for the very first time. No kidding. As soon as the unborn baby's profile came into focus, this little hand reaches up and it waves at the screen. And the little kids are like, hey! The doctor's like, I've never seen that before. And I'm like, yeah, that's my kid, he's pro-life. And then we got one of my boy, Colby. And Colby was really tiny. He's only about as tall as your cell phone from head to toe. Then you zoomed in on his little face, and this is what he looked like, taking a nap in my wife's womb 5 months before he's even born. And it's like, do you get the point that my boy's existence depended on a choice his mom made back in high school to turn things around? And when we got married, yes, I was a virgin when we got married. And you couldn't have paid me $1 million to get anybody but my bride. Now, she was not a virgin, but she was worth waiting for. She knew it. I would have waited for it until I was 50. And she started over. And in a lot of ways, I did too. We don't want to end up divorced. So we did 3 things that will decrease your divorce rate. First thing, we wouldn't live together before we get married. You know how couples do that now? Cohabit, shack up, play a house, test drive each other, get married. How are they doing? Twice as likely to get divorced. So why do they do it? They say, we need to see if we're compatible with each other. Dude, trust me on this one. You're a guy and she's a girl. You are not compatible in marriage. I figured that out so fast. We got back from a honeymoon. She moved all her stuff in my bathroom. Do you know what happens when a girl gets in a guy's bathroom and get married? Heads up, guys. It's called a hostile takeover, all right? Because like, guys' bathrooms are perfect. What do you have, soap, shampoo? Some guys don't even have that. And then she moves in. I counted one morning in her shower, she had 24 bottles of different things. I'm fascinated. I started reading on it all, and she's got like this pumice foot polish and like kneecap and remover, and she's got this body wash, like exfoliating body wash with raspberry melon, apricot, pork chop, applesauce. I was like, oh, I like that thing. They got razor blades all over. They got bags of junk. She had one bag. I remember it said lemon sage body butter. I'm like, what do you do with that? I'm like, guys aren't into this. Like, how many of you guys have body butter? And don't answer the question, but the point is that you're not going to be compatible in marriage, okay? And that's because girls are weird, and guys are entirely normal, and that's obvious. But you're not going to be compatible, but you deal with it. But I mean, if you take Latin here, what does compatible mean? It comes from the Latin compati, to suffer with. That's where the word comes from. If you're not willing to suffer with a woman till death do you part, we're not compatible. You don't need to shack up and figure out if we have that virtue or not. So first thing, we didn't shack up. The second thing, we didn't sleep together before we got married. If I had sex with Kristalina before marrying her, I mean, I'd be lying to her. And yet my body would be saying one thing to her. Well, I've given myself totally to you. I am all yours. If I'm not the woman's husband, the embrace of sex is a lie. This movie came out where this guy sleeps with Cameron Diaz. And afterwards she says to him, don't you know when you make love to a woman, your body makes a promise to her whether you do or not. The promise of sex is I am entirely yours. And if they're not married, it isn't true. And some guys will tell me, what if it's not like that though? Some cheap one-night stand, you're drunk all over her. What if you really care about this girl? You both talked about it and you feel ready. How come you can't sleep with her if you really love her? Really love her. What's it mean to love her? You do what's best for her. Really best for her to wake up tomorrow? I'm pregnant, is my mom gonna find out? I spoke at a high school in Texas. They had 87 girls pregnant on campus. And that didn't include the junior high, brought the number of pregnancy over 100. But here's the question. How many pregnancies do you think that school would have if it were the guys who could get pregnant? Could you imagine what life would be like maybe just 1 month a year if guys could get pregnant? I mean, guys would go like, it is National Abstinence Awareness Month this month. I've got my pledge card set to go for 30 days. I mean, everything would be different. Dates would be different. Prom night would be different. You go there with the prom night, hotel room, football player, the girlfriend. She starts flirting about sex. He'd be like, I'm not ready for sex. Coach would kill me if I got pregnant on the football team next year. I can't run for touchdowns like that. That's not going to work. And let her take the risk any night of the week. And some guys tell me, I'm telling you, I really love this girl I'm sleeping with. If a guy loves a girl he's sleeping with, how come if they're in bed together at her house and her dad comes home, the guy will jump out of like a 5-story window rather than face the dad? If he really loves the girl, I think he should stay in bed with her. No kidding. Let's say they're in bed together, her house, and her dad comes home. Just say from a hunting trip, okay? And they didn't get to shoot anything yet. And so they're sitting there, and she looks out the window, and she sees her dad's truck. I mean, you know she's gonna freak out. Oh, my daddy has guns, you have to hide. Boyfriend should look at her and be like, I don't need to hide. I've always wanted to show your dad how much I love his daughter. I think this would be a perfect opportunity to give him that information. Probably not gonna happen. It isn't gonna happen. I know it because it happened to my friend John in high school. He's over at my friend Michelle's house. They're up in her bedroom messing around. They aren't even supposed to be seeing each other. Her dad is supposed to be out at work. He comes home early. Saw John's car out front. Whoa! Boom! Bust the door and they hear him coming upstairs. Now my friend John is freaking out. He's trapped. There's nowhere to go. And he's like, Michelle, where can I hide? He's on the desk with the microwave. We're gonna fit. And there's nowhere to go. Now he looks. Michelle's bed is like 6 inches off the ground.